Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Max. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We got some NBA playoff basketball coverage to catch up on, Caden. We are a couple days behind, unfortunately. Sorry to you guys. That's on my bad. I may or may not have been in Denver all day yesterday with the Nuggets and ESPN or something along those lines. I don't know.
Max may or may not have been working the game or anything.
Something along those lines, but
that conflicted our ability to record the podcast Friday night after the playing games ended.
Correct, which we wanted to do for you guys. Sorry about that, but we are back live in the flesh, which is even better. So we got a better quality episode for y'all. Caden, lead us off. What's on your mind?
So we're going to go through every first-round matchup here. By the time you guys see this on Monday morning, every series is going to be through a game. As we were recording this, only one game on Sunday has actually finished. The Celtics and Magic are going on right now. Right now, it does look like the Celtics will win, but who really knows in basketball? So we're going to go through every first-round matchup here and give our thoughts on who we think is going to be able to actually come out victorious here. We're going to start – let's start in the weaker conference here in the East, where we'll start with the games where we've already seen one game played, so we kind of have a little idea of what's going on already, where the first game we did end up seeing yesterday, though, on Saturday, was the first game of that Pacers-Bucks series.
Oh, my gosh.
Where the Pacers completely dominated the Bucks straight up in this series. To open the series, I mean.
They did, and we saw some arguments with Dame Lillard, who wasn't even playing on the court either. We saw some scuffles. We saw some tenacity, Caden, which I do like in series. I do like drama. It's good for playoff basketball. Mm-hmm. It really is. But are the Bucks going to be healthy and ready to go enough to last in the series? I don't know, Caden. They also do still have Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the top 5 players in the NBA as well.
And Dame should be back by game 2, game 3.
Yeah, we're going to see, but do you think, Caden, that they're able to pull this off? I personally am going to go ahead and say yes. I'm still riding with Milwaukee Bucks to right the ship and win the series.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fun matchup as it's kind of become a budding rivalry over these last 2 seasons where the Pacers have finally been competitive again. Or we saw it start early last season with the in-season tournament, where the Pacers and Bucks were playing these close, heavily contested games. And it was looking great. It was a awesome environment. We've seen this rivalry kind of start to build, where now we get it again this year. It starts off in the playoffs, where, first game, it's just Giannis, and they're not able to do what they want to do, but obviously no Damian Lillard. You're going to be able to get him back later. And I just had to make sure because I didn't want to misquote or anything. But yes, we saw that rivalry start in the in-season tournament last year. And then in last year's playoffs in that first round, the Pacers as a 6th seed upset the Bucks in 6 games. And now we're seeing it again this year. So it's really bad blood. It's a very competitive series. And kind of what you're saying is yes, I do like a lot of these players on this Pacers lineup. I think they have one of the just kind of more well-rounded lineups from top to bottom, where you see even their bench players are very good NBA players, where Benedict Mathurin comes off the bench. Like you have some of these other players that could be. Obi Toppin is a very good bench player. They're not getting extended minutes, where on even some of the other playoff teams, they would be playing a lot more, but because of the depth the Pacers have, it really helps them with that. But it's not like they have one sort of superstar player who can come in and take over a game. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton is awesome. Pascal Siakam is great. Miles Turner is really good as well. No one of those 3 players are really going to come in. I mean, we've seen in spurts, we've seen it happen before with a Tyrese Halliburton. But it just, this season, we haven't. Last year, we could have counted on a possibility of seeing a Tyrese Halliburton take over a game. This year, we haven't seen that same kind of thing out of him, where you're going to need the whole of the team and not just the select few playing really good to be able to come in and actually win this series. Where yesterday, yes, the whole team played well. That's what was able to help control and dominate that victory over the Bucks. But now, if we get even an 80% Damian Lillard, I think that's going to do just enough, where the Bucks do have that showstopper in a Giannis. And if you have a healthy enough, kind of good enough number 2 than in a Damian Lillard, yeah, that's better. Those two are better than any possible 2 combination you could have on the Pacers. I think that will be able to help them overcome the Pacers and do actually end up winning the series, like you were saying. The other series we did see a first round. The first game in the first round happened yesterday was the Knicks Pistons season series. Where the Knicks, I know the final score didn't maybe really look it, but this game was very close for most of the game. But the Knicks do control a 1-0 lead heading into game 2 tonight as you guys are watching this.
Caden, this one's kind of interesting within this series. Like you said, it was very competitive. I don't know. What were your kind of big takeaways from that game? You had a better look than I did on that one as I was working.
Detroit basketball. Hey, Pistons are back. This is awesome. We talked about it a couple months ago on the pod. They went from the worst losing streak in NBA history last year to now they missed the play-in altogether, secured themselves this 6th seed. And yeah, you have to face off against the Knicks. That's a very tough first-round matchup for you as the Pistons. The Pistons, though, they're a very just kind of competitive, scrappy team. Where, in a way, kind of like I was saying with the Pacers, they don't have that one superstar, but everyone's playing together, playing well, that it works for them.
Yeah, we talked about, that Knicks trade that happened, a while back now when we're looking at it, how that was going to affect their season, how they were going to gel. We've seen them kind of come to fruition. We've seen this team, take over. Now they're kind of rocking, they're rolling. Still, a very wide open series, in my opinion. Caden. Cade Cunningham has really come alive, as we've seen with his numbers from the last couple seasons. He's finally hit the spark and playing. I like the player Detroit had drafted him to be, which is really exciting for that fan base, for a team that's been lackluster for so long. Mm-hmm. I just think that, New York's got the more experience, They're going to be able to hold on. They're going to be able to eke out and get the series win. Although I'm not going to slander the Pistons because, I'm still very impressed with, like you said, their effort, the way they've been fighting, the improvement throughout the season. I just think that the experience within the players in the Knicks and who they are as a team fundamentally are going to be able to get it done.
This series is going to, in my eyes, remind me of what we saw out of the Nuggets and Lakers in the playoffs last year, where they won in 5 games, and all Lakers fans could say was, but that was the closest 5-game series of all time. I feel like this could be what we see in this Knicks-Pistons series, where, I very well could see the Knicks winning this in 5 games.
Correct.
But I think every game is going to be highly competitive, very close. The Pistons are going to be able to stay in it for most of the game. But then the Knicks are going to be able to pull out eventually. Then, like yesterday, the Pistons were looking amazing. They were looking very good. They were up 8 late in this game. And then what do they do, Max?
They sell?
Not only that. They let the Knicks go on a 21-0 run in like a 5-minute span. The Knicks went on a 21-0 run, went from down 8 to up 13. And even at that point, when there was still 6-7 minutes left in the game, it didn't matter. It was over after that. The Knicks were just able to control the ball at that. Yeah, the Pistons, they're fun. They're a competitive, scrappy team. But they don't have the closers that the Knicks do in with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and so forth.
Correct.
They'll keep it fun. They'll keep it competitive for 3.5 quarters. But in the end, I think it'll be fun, but they might not be able to eke out one or so win in this series. Getting to the other Eastern Conference matchups, where the other 2 games are being played today, we have the 1-8 matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat, who are the first team to make it into the playoffs in the play-in era as a 10 seed. They won both their games, were able to come in and make it. So who do you think comes out in this always scrappy kind of underdog Heat team and one of the best teams in the NBA all season in the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yeah, we've seen this Heat team be able to do it over the years, Caden, as an 8 seed. They made it all the way to the finals, obviously. We've seen what they're able to do, but that was in the past.
And that was with Jimmy Butler.
Things have changed tremendously, and although, that Heat culture is still strong enough to be able to will them through to make it to the playoffs, they still got there in a bad Eastern Conference. They're there, Caden. I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to get a game, off of the Cavaliers, maybe two, take it to 6 potentially. But I really just see pure dominance coming from the Cleveland Cavaliers and them being able to clean it up pretty nicely.
Yeah. Basically, all you said there were, we've seen these Heat teams ever since the play-in started come into the playoffs almost always as a play-in team.
Yeah.
And then find a way to make a deep run because they have the coaching experience of Eric Spoelstra.
Correct.
But also they had one of the biggest playoff risers of all time in Jimmy Butler. Now he's gone. Heat, you have some players. You are almost there. You almost a very nice team. Not there yet. The Cavs are one of the best teams in the NBA for a reason. They can score the ball extremely well. They're able to lock you down defensively in the paint with that duo of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And then, you still have, going back to our NBA stock market season episode from the start of the season, where I decided to say that Donovan Mitchell was going to have a down season this year. No, he just decided to lead the best team.
Yeah, I was
over 50 wins.
Probably one of the coldest. I said Kevin Durant, which wasn't it was up there as worst.
Yeah, it was bad, but mine was worse.
Yeah, we definitely were up there in pretty L takes this year.
This Cavs team is the 1 seed in the East for a reason. They're going to be more likely than not.
It's going to be hard out.
It's going to be it's going to be hard. It's in my eyes, it's hard to see a world where we don't really see a Celtics Cavs Eastern Conference final. I think that's what we're building up to. And that just starts with the Cavs working their way through the Heat.
And then let's hop right into their Caden segue. Celtics series, which I don't even know if we need to talk much about.
Yeah, as of right now in game 1, Celtics are up 18 with 7.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So they're looking like they're going to cruise to a 1-0 lead in the series. But the Magic, they're a good defense, but they are a putrid offense where you would think when you have Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero both on your side offensively able to give you 20 to 30 points a night, you'd think maybe you'd be able to do something offensively. Except when your third offensive choice in Jalen Suggs is now injured and out. And then no one else on the team knows how to play offense. So you have those two players. Number 3 option, who actually had Jalen Suggs was a very good ball player for them this season. Injured.
It's been injuries that's been rid of them.
And now it's no one else. So
that's been their problem, Kate. Everyone's been injured at different times. Everyone's taking their turn with an injury, miss extended minutes. No one can get cohesive. Offenses don't just appear overnight. They need a gel. They need time to run their sets, run their plays. When you have key pieces missing, it makes it hard.
Yep. So an easy, both in our eyes, an easy Celtics victory here in round 1.
Now to the West.
We're going to move over to the Western Conference here now, where once again we're going to go start with the games that have already been played and working now to today's games, where we're going to start off with our team here, the Denver Nuggets, who came in as the 4 seed to take on the 5-seeded Los Angeles Clippers, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac. And this was a very back and forth game. Late. A really back and forth game late. The Clippers, the Nuggets, look, it was a back and forth game in the first half. Nuggets go up 3 and going into the half. Completely forget how to play basketball in that third quarter, where they're letting point paint after point paint happen with fast break point after fast break point happen for the Clippers that they're scoring at will. Nuggets aren't doing great offensively. But what do the Nuggets love to do? They love a little bit of a comeback, a little bit of a story to the game.
Always.
So they'll go down by 15, work their way back.
Really impressive third quarter for the team.
Lead, for some reason, have a Russell Westbrook take the biggest shot of the game. Hey, he made it. Props to Russ. You go up 1. The best player in the NBA gets fouled to go to the free throw line. And he misses both free throws.
Both of them.
Misses both of them. That's not great. That was not what you want to see. Like Nikola Jokic. You're having one of the best seasons of all time. You're not going MVP, which is just a little insane. But you're having one of the best seasons of all time.
The only center in history to average triple-double, Caden. Just say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. We can keep going through the long list of Nikola Jokic first evers or only player ever
or
since
first since Will. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, missing those isn't great. But what they were able to do, they go down 2, they're able to come back, tie it up, game goes to overtime, and they do what they have to do, get it done, take a 1-0 lead in this series in a kind of just a scary first game of the series, especially for it being at home.
Yeah, Caden, it was, but the Clippers have been on a run lately, and that's what we kind of expected. Them coming hot, them coming ready. Kawhi Leonard is actually on the court consistently for the first time in years. I mean, this guy.
And he looks still like Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, exactly. He's back. He's rolling. James Harden is reignited back in his prime. And, of course, Zubac is one of the best defenders of Jokic, which he had basically a triple-double again. So take that as you will.
Soundboard double, yeah.
No one's really stopping Jokic, but I think, there's going to be a tight competitive series. And, David Adamman was able to make the adjustments and the tough decisions late where he said, hey, I'm going to pull Michael Porter Jr., I'm going to play Russ, we're going to prioritize defense and effort above everything else. It worked out in the clutch minutes and the clutch's performance. Jamal Murray had a clutch steal off Kawhi Leonard as well, poking the ball free. Defensive efforts, defensive plays that typically haven't won the Nuggets games help them against the Clippers, kid. And I think that's going to be the story moving forward. Either way, give me the Nuggets to win the series.
Yeah, that was speaking of that play on Jamal Murray, to tip it out of Kawhi Leonard's hands, tip it off his thigh to go about. That was a huge play there towards the end of that game.
Yes.
It really helped shift it where going into this series, you're looking at it. The Nuggets are awful defensively, have been and still are. The Clippers are one of the better defenses in the league. While their offense is not as good as the Nuggets, the Nuggets are a top 5 offense in the league. Their offense is still very good. And what you were saying where Kawhi Leonard is now looking healthy. He's actually playing healthy in the playoffs for probably first time since like 2021. James Harden's looking kind of more back to Houston James Harden days. And his pick and roll with Zubac is one of the best pick and rolls in the league. So they have just multiple different ways to come at you offensively. And they have the most improved player in the league in Norman Powell, who jumped up his points per game this year by like 8.
Yeah.
So they're able to score offensively, and they have a very good defense. For the Nuggets, they were able to do it well in this game, at least late in this game. Turn up when you need to defensively, because obviously you're not a great defensive team, but you can turn up when you need to, get some stops, and you're able to come up with the big buckets. Benching Michael Porter for Russell Westbrook ended up being amazing, where we saw Russ, while he had some weird layup attempts.
Yeah, he missed a few ugly ones.
He also had some very good offensive rebounds that helped save possessions, get him or other players to the free throw line that were able to help big and end up getting that win. Going forward in the series, though, we need to see the Nuggets limit what the Clippers are able to do in the paint, because they were able to just find easy buckets.
It was a layup line
from the start of the game to the end, whether it be Zubac, Harden, Kawhi, anyone. They were able to find a cutter or just drive to the paint and have a lane to either get an open shot or just a mildly contested shot for an easy lay. So that really a step up for the Nuggets. I'm still like you though. I'm going to ride with the Nuggets as long as you have Nikola Jokic, and I think Jamal Murray is, because I know he didn't see much play at the end of the regular season because of the injuries. As he gets a little more back up to full game speed, see him and Jokic start really gelling again, we know how deadly they can be in the playoffs. I think that's really going to be what sets it over the top for them here.
Yeah.
The other series we did see start last night was the biggest shock we saw out of all the games yesterday was the Timberwolves actually as the 6 seed dominating the Lakers in that first game, where now the Timberwolves hold a 1-0 lead with even home games the rest of the series.
Correct, Caden, which I think was a big surprise. And I think that's going to be a wake-up call for the Lakers. And I don't know if it was so much as what the Lakers did or didn't do as compared to what the Timberwolves did. They shot efficiently, Caden. They were aggressive. They were hungry. They went out and just imposed their will. They did a lot of great things, and they just looked like the better basketball team. The score reflected that. LeBron James had a poor second half, right? One of his poorest, playoff performances in recent memory, just, as a whole, coming down the stretch. Didn't do, much in the second half at all for the team to be able to come out and get a victory there. But that being said, you still got Luka, you still got LeBron, you still got, your first-year head coach in Redick. those minds are going to get together. They're going to be able to make the adjustments. And this is going to be a chess match, Caden. This is going to be a series that I think goes to 7 games. So come down to the wire. I still do like the Lakers being able to pull it out, though, even though they had the ugly loss to start.
Yeah, this is, at least when I'm looking at these first-round matchups, this was the first-round matchup that would be the best series, give us the best games. This first game didn't really show it, but it was domination by the Timberwolves here, where there are, like, some of their starters offensively didn't do as much as you would maybe hope for. Mike Conley, 9 points. Gobert only had 2 points. But that didn't matter because everyone else was producing, and they were able to hold the Lakers to under 100 points. While, yes, Luka Doncic looked like exactly what you'd think of Luka Doncic in the playoffs, where he put up 37-8, only 1 assist. But then, yeah, what really kind of hurt them there was LeBron, where the shot just wasn't falling for him last night. And when the Timberwolves were going on some of these exacerbated runs where they're just adding to this lead, while Luka might make a shot here or there, they needed some help, and they just weren't being supplied with it. Even still, though, I am with you, while it should be a chess match. And the thing that does scare me with the Lakers is J.J. Redick as their head coach, because we don't know how he's going to react, be able to actually coach a playoff series. We're not sure yet. Even still with that, when you have 2 supercomputers in LeBron James and Luka Doncic on your team, I think that's going to be able to know, those 2 right there are so smart.
They got enough basketball
when it comes to the game of basketball. I think they'll be able to offset any bad coaching by J.J. Redick.
I think so.
And be able to now come out when the rest of the series is able to come out victorious. Probably in 6-7 games, like you were saying. Get to the other Western Conference matches. We saw one game happen today, and it was the 5th largest margin of victory in playoff history, as the best team in basketball, Oklahoma City Thunder, beat the Grizzlies by 51. 51. 131-80.
Not much we need to say, kid. We've talked about it all
I think
year.
that just kind of shows what the series is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Grizzlies limped in, barely made it, had to go through the play-in. Looked all right in the play-in, kid. Nothing impressive.
Nope.
And to get absolutely hollywogged, demolished, smacked 50 bombed on your head in basketball. It's an embarrassment, honestly, in the playoffs, Caden. But it's a testament to the greatness. You have the MVP in Shea on the team, unfortunately, even though Jokic deserves it. And, again, almost like this Boston series, there's not much more to add. This is a clear cut. We know who's going to win in 4. Or maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
John could pull a game together.
The Grizzlies could sneak out 1 at home.
I think so.
But the Thunder are going to come in and dominate this series. They were the best team in basketball for a reason this year. When you have a starting 5 of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, J-Dub, Lou Dort, Chet, Alex, and then even still you have Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. So many options who could all produce for you at such a high level. I think this Thunder team is saying they're going to roll through the Grizzlies. Grizzlies might sneak 1 in at home, like we said. Not much else. The 2-7 matchup, though, in the Western Conference should also be, I think it'll be up there with that with the Lakers Timberwolves series, with the best series for the playoffs. As with the 7-seeded Warriors taking on the 2-seeded Rockets. First game hasn't tipped off yet for us, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen here. But so going into the series, so still a raw reaction for us. 2-7 matchup, Warriors-Rockets. Who you got, Max?
Caden, we've talked about how much we love this Rockets team so much all year. They're young, they're hungry, they're ready to rock and roll. They managed to snag the 2 seed, even though it was a toss-up, coming down that last month of the season. It was anyone's race. They were the team that was able to play consistently enough to earn that right to be the 2. And unfortunately for them, that means they get Steph Curry, Caden. What the hell, right? That's really awesome. As a 2 seed, that just goes to show you the depth of this Western
the
Conference.
West is insane.
How ridiculous it is. That as a 2 seed, you get Jimmy Butler in the Golden State Warriors round 1, who are still dangerous as ever, who still have the most winning experience of any team in the association. And I think it's just going to be too much, honestly, Caden. The experience, the play of Draymond Green on the defensive end, what they're able to do with Steve Kerr, those minds on the Warriors, they find a way. Steph Curry's going to drill threes and find a way. I think they get it done.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, this is my big upset.
Steph Curry, one of the 15 greatest players of all time. Jimmy Butler,
he's probably
one of the biggest playoff. Probably the biggest. Him and Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray statistically.
Actually, yeah, Jamal Murray statistically. So Jimmy Butler, one of the top playoff risers of all time. Draymond Green, future Hall of Famer, still amazing on the defensive side of the ball and can contribute offensively. Then they just have some other pieces who are good. The Rockets are an amazing team, a very young, hungry roster. Ime Udoka is a great coach.
Yes.
But
got his chance again.
This is the thing. They remind me of what we saw out of the Thunder last year, where it's a young, awesome-looking team, but they just don't have the experience.
Correct.
Also like the Thunder last year. They're one of the best defenses in the league, and I think that's going to be hard for the Warriors. Because you do have Steph and Jimmy on the offensive side, but the rest of the players you're relying on have been fairly inconsistent this season.
Correct.
So you're doing that. On the Rockets, though, Şengün should, I think, be in for a good series. I don't think Brandon Post or anyone like that's going to be able to help log down Şengün in the paint. And then you could get the high-flying performances. Like Amen Thompson could come out, drop a triple-double. Jalen Green can come out, give you 35 points. You just don't know that the Rockets, I think they're a year away. I think they need to get this experience now because, the only players on their team that really has playoff experience is Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks out of the actual people who play. And that's not a lot of playoff experience between any of them. Obviously, Freddie has the chip. Freddie has a chip. But that's like his only year in the playoffs, though. It's like he has a bunch of experience under him where you're going against now worse team. Steph's won 4 rings and played in a bunch of other series. Jimmy's been to 2 finals. Draymond has 4 rings. I think the experience is going to outweigh the ferocity and the defense. And just inexperience is going to show here with the Rockets. That's what's going to end up being their undoing. But I do think this was a very tight, close series that we do see go 6 or 7 games.
Most definitely can. As always, it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes out. We'll be sure to give you guys all our coverage of all the rest of this games the next week and how this tunes out. Caden, what do these people need to do before they leave?
Yeah, make sure you guys like this video if you did enjoy. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree with our picks? Do you disagree? Do you have any dark horses coming out of this first round that we maybe just blew off too easily? Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload and share this with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that.
Most definitely, we appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time.